Hi, this is John Rowell from the Rowell Report. Today is Monday, August 25th, 2025, and as you know, no one likes to be lied to, especially by the media, and much less by their government. Well, we've had an example of an incredible bold-faced lie that was provided to us by none other than NBC News in an interview with Sergei Lavrov of Russia. So anyway, this is regarding the Russian attack on the U.S. owned, United States owned company Flex. Flex used to be known as Flextronics. They make all kinds of electronic apparatus. Uh, they were making cell phones for Motorola. So they would make the phone, and Motorola would put their company logo on it. Anyway, Flextronics have been in the contract business for a long time. They make things for other people. So we need to keep that in mind. But anyway, let's go to the lie that was given by NBC News. So here we are, Sergei Lavrov is explaining about the attack on this plant and that Russia does not attack civilian uh, um, targets. So, anyway, we can hear what NBC News has to say about that. So, let's get that going. Here's the interview that was put up on YouTube by NBC News. We're at minute 17 practically of that interview. Russia's Lavrov says Putin wants peace even as strikes on Ukraine ramp up. Full interview. So this is part of an interview by NBC News of Sergei Lavrov. So anyway, let's get going with this interview.
Those who are sincerely interested in understanding what is going on should know by now that never ever Russia deliberately targeted any sites which are not linked to military abilities of Ukraine.
This is an electronics factory, though, sir. This is an electronics factory. I've spoken to people on the ground there. It builds coffee machines, among other.
So anyway, here we go with the coffee machine company lie. Um, this is really incredible that a news media, a national news media company like a media outlet like NBC News would just shamelessly put out false information trying to attack uh, Russia with just defamations and also to try to confuse and deceive the public. So, anyway, let's assume that we're looking to prove or not whether this company was making coffee machines. So anyway, let's go here to an image of what the production line looks like for a coffee maker company. So you can see kind of the outline of a coffee maker. This likes kind of like the coffee maker that is sold um, by Walmart. So it's just your basic white coffee maker. Um, and you see that there's all these people who are carrying out individual tasks along the production line. And we have some supervisors that are checking out what the employees are doing. Um, we have all these people, and the only focus of their work is getting all these parts put together into a coffee maker. Here we have kind of a little roller belt where things can slide down from one station to another as it goes down the line. We have more lines over here. We have more lines over here. So this is what a coffee maker company looks like. So going back to the NBC News interview of Sergei Lavrov, Flex Electronics builds coffee machines. Okay. So anyway, let's go back. Coffee machine. Okay, so let's go to the Facebook page for Flex. This is supposed to be from the Flex Ukraine Facebook page. In any case, this may be an image from another of their companies, but was posted on their Facebook page. But anyway, we can see kind of what Flex does, Flextronics. They make all sorts of uh, power modules. They make motherboards. They make communication devices. They make Wi-Fi devices. They make wearables. Um, okay, so here is from the Flex website, company website. These are the products that supposedly are being made at the Flex Ukraine facility. They have critical power devices, embedded power. We'll come back to that in a minute. Liquid cooling. So automotive. Can anyone tell me what the automotive industry in Ukraine is doing? Do they have an automotive industry? Are they making electric vehicles? We'll also come back to this in a little bit. Components, well, that's probably primarily what they do. Motherboards and components, all these transistors. These are all communication devices or devices for computers. Flexible circuits and materials, these are for wearables, like something you would use on your you would have like a kind of a looks like a watch, and you'd have little buttons. You'd be controlling the device remotely. So anyway, we can come back to this in a second. This is an image from the inside of the Flex um, company in Ukraine. So you see here, we have different stations. People set up at different stations. They're all wearing these white um, white coveralls, um, to I guess to keep the dust down. And these are all these people are working with the electronic devices. You see over here, this is kind of either a network or electronic device tester. Here you can see this is the Flex uh, company location from Google and the Mukachevo facility. So, and if you look around, you see all these different stations. What are they exactly making? Okay, but the question isn't what they're making. The question is if they make coffee makers. So let's go back here to the coffee maker facility, and then now let's go back to this. Now is so we see here, we see an outline, we see the form of a coffee maker. Okay, we go back here. Do you see any coffee makers being made? Um, do you see any home appliances being made? Okay, and if we go back to the Flex product line, they don't even mention coffee makers. So we have NBC News talking about coffee machines being made, among other electronics. Coffee machines. So here we have coffee machines being made. Okay, this is the production line. All these different pieces are going in to making coffee machines or coffee makers or whatever you want to call it. And so, and here is the floor that this looks a lot more like research and development, like electronics devices, something very consistent with all these products that they announce that they're actually making at their company. And if you go down a little further, oops, there's no coffee makers listed. Maybe the critical power could be a critical power coffee maker, an embedded power coffee maker, a liquid cooled coffee maker, an automotive coffee maker, a component coffee maker, or a flexible circuit coffee maker. No, that none of that makes any sense. So um, it's obvious that NBC News didn't even check the Flex website to see what they actually make at this factory. They just decided that they're just going to throw out this lie that they're making coffee machines at this facility. So um, it's incredible that somebody who would look at this image and say, gee, I don't see any coffee makers. But the most important thing is I don't see any production line. I don't see any conveyor belts moving things from one end to the other. I don't see employees hovering over the production line. I don't see supervisors watching over the employees to make sure they're working well. This is a whole different setup. So the fact that they could come on, um, they could bring Sergei Lavrov on and then try to throw a curveball at him with a bold-faced lie that they make coffee machines. That's incredible. So um, the thing is, if you're sitting at home and you don't investigate, you probably think that NBC News is honest and they're going to put out honest information. Well, guess again, they don't care about the truth. But the real situation about the U.S. media is that especially since 9/11, the terrorist attacks on 9/11, U.S. media has gotten in line, so to speak, with the U.S. State Department and the U.S. Department of Defense. They no longer question any kind of narrative that they get, they just pump it out. So if you're all into, I don't care if they lie to me, I just want to know what the narrative is, so I can tell everyone that they need to repeat that over and over. So this is how we get people supporting the war in Ukraine, because supposedly the Russians are attacking companies that are making coffee machines. Well, let's go back to the product line here for Flex. What the situation in Ukraine is that they're running out of soldiers. They're bringing in soldiers under 20 years old and over 60. So I guess they got the fun over 60 crowd, and they got the I'm the you know you have the young kids that they're throwing on the front lines. So what the situation is that Ukraine is running out of soldiers, and so they need to replace soldiers with technology. And Flex, if you can see, we have embedded power as one of the products that they make. This could go into one of those soldier robots that they'll mount a machine gun, they'll mount like some kind of device to throw out explosives. Um, it'll go and maybe place landmines. It can do all kinds of things. So this would work well in that. It also work well in other devices. Um, the war in Ukraine is becoming more and more technological, and all this fits in. The automotive, if you want to take a look at the devices that they have for okay, so let's see if we can open up. Um, they talk about the power devices, the backup DC converters. This could also work in all sorts of remote operated devices that that are used on the front line. Also, um, you could have um, the various stations where they are communicating. They need Wi-Fi, they need networking, they need computers. So all these these devices that Flex creates, they can all be used for whatever Ukraine needs on their front line. Um, what what the U.S. Media is saying is that this Flex company was just making home appliances, consumer devices, and what Russia is saying is that these devices was part of the military industrial complex for Ukraine. So um, now, do you see here coffee makers? So they're lying. They're lying to you, and it's a bold-faced lie because, as I said, they didn't even check the website, and even if they did, um, I doubt that they would have changed their narrative. So because they know that the public in uh, in the United States and other places, they don't investigate, they don't read, they don't follow up. They just hear all of these narratives, and they get all angry, and their emotions become too strong, and they're like, this is the way it is, and I'm just going to believe that, and I'm not going to question the narratives. But you really have to question the narratives, especially when you have something that is so obvious. So I particularly don't like to be lied to. I hope you don't like to be lied to, especially by your media, especially by your government. Now, if this Flex company is in Ukraine, then it means that they're part. If they're a part of the military-industrial complex, it means that they signed up for one of these programs from the Department of Defense. Here we have a news article from November 2023. Ukraine security assistance strengthens nation's defense industrial base. So if we go down here further in the article. Um, it says since February 24, 2022, the U.S. has committed approximately $44 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. Do you know that $44 billion is more than the GDP of over 70 countries? So they've taken the GDP uh which is more than they've taken the amount which is more than the GDP of 70 countries, and they've thrown it to Ukraine. Why? Because this is a US proxy war against Russia. So, and if we go further down this article, we see at the same time defense contractors are busy building new equipment to replace what has been sent overseas, which means that was destroyed by the Russians. They're also manufacturing new capabilities. That would be the robot soldiers to fulfill the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative orders. The Department of Defense has obligated more than 10 billion in funds through that initiative. So there's big money in this whole military industrial complex in Ukraine, especially if they put a factory in Ukraine to support their military industrial complex. Why is the media and the US government covering up for what this plant factory was doing? Um, and the worst thing is, that they said they're building coffee machines. Again, here's the coffee machines. And this is the factory. No coffee machines being made. And even worse, they have a website and they say exactly what they make. And they don't list coffee makers here. So please, please, please don't buy into all these media lies. Um, there are many channels out there that are trying to get the truth out. I'm just one of them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video today. Please come back for more, and all the best. Take care.